We often discuss on the channel and other channels how we don't think that they make the toys for kids anymore, or kids aren't buying toys because they're more interested in their games consoles or iPads and things like that. Which is therefore means then they're catering more for the adults who collect, as I would suspect the HasLabs are mostly for, because you're not going to get a 14-year-old kid saying, "Mum, can I have a HasLab?" Well, you would, but they'd probably say no.
Well, no parent's going to buy it.
Well, exactly.
And no parent is going to buy something to then wait 18 months. They'll be like, "Are you mad?" If it was available now, a few would do it, but not like prepayment in advance. In answer to that, it's more the former of what you said rather than the latter.
Right.
Kids absolutely do play with toys.
Okay.
But are the toy companies making something that is relevant or interesting to them? That's the real thing. Hasbro historically did. At the moment, they don't. So a parent will come in and say, "What can I get to get them off pad, reduce screen time?" And I would always say Nerf. And then you get, don't know if I want to do that, but true enough, give a kid a Nerf gun, they are running around. All of a sudden they're super active. If you got the right thing to stimulate a kid's imagination or interest, then absolutely, we're evolving and changing all the time. It is all fluid, but categorically, what kids have now is unlimited entertainment at their fingertips. Right. So they don't even actually need games. You've got Netflix and Amazon and other streaming services, YouTube. And we all would have been exactly the same had we had access to that, but we didn't. So we made our own fun. You go out on the bike, you make jumps, you make Star Wars figures, you build bases and stuff like that. But if you're not actually providing almost like the basic blocks of kids' play patterns, then you can't expect them to pick it up themselves. So within the pandemic, there was an explosion of board games and jigsaw puzzles. Jigsaw puzzles in the past, it's kind of like the wooden spoon prize. If you got that for your birthday, you'd be like, thanks, but you wouldn't be like, wow. It almost, became fashionable again, because it's like, oh, okay, this is quite cool. It's a community thing that other people can then join in. So your grandparents as well as the kids could do it. But it hadn't ever been marketed back to kids. Sylvanian Families is a good example. Have had their best years in the last few years, and it's a very traditional toy, and it's a very like for like with compared to other toy lines. It's quite an expensive toy because of the detail that's gone into it. But it's a proxy for a doll's house. It's actually quite a traditional toy.
Yeah. But
then all of a sudden it's I want to get the kitchen set. Yeah, I like the living room. I want to get this family and that they are all there for people. And then Epoch is the company. They're very clever. They'll do incentives. So buy this, you get this free. There's a current one at the moment. Loyalty card. You get the first one free. So all you got to do is get 4 stickers. You get one with every £10, and then once you get that, so 40 quid. You then get a twin set free.
And that harkens back to the old Kenner days where you collect...
Exactly. That's where I was going to come to. When was the last time you saw anything like that for Star Wars?
Well, not since 1985, I would suggest. Yeah.
Well, you had it in the 90s with...
Absolutely, Power of the Force.
Yeah, Han Solo, Stormtroopers, and your Spirit of Obi-Wan and what have you.
Yeah.
But they haven't done it for years. So and really, in the 80s, that really wrote the marketing book for... kids' toy lines, because there were so many. You think of all of the brands that all of these guys go back to now. It's low-hanging fruit, really. Yeah. But it's partly because the marketing was so good and effective, and in many ways brainwashed us, because they were circumventing legislations. They are not your friends.
No.
They want to get as much money out of your parents as possible. They're there to sell toys, in arbitrage to shareholders. But if you're not doing that now, then you kind of lost. So like I said, Nerf was always an easy one. If I show you like the Lego is about as close to balancing it as you can at the moment. They are really teetering on the adult side at the moment.
Yeah.
But Creator is probably the best Lego line. But when you bring a kid in here, they'll always go for whatever is the big thing and stuff like that. But with Creator, you build that, you break it up, you build the angelfish, you break it up, you build the squid, and then chances are, by the time you build the third one, it's not your favourite one. So you go back and then build the one that. So the most engagement you get with that is when you're following the blueprint and you're building it. But like Lego do Duplo, they then do 4+, they then move into sort of like the mid range of like 5 to 6 year old. They then go to like a teenage market, and then they got the adult market. So the botanical side of things has been the biggest seller for them this year, because this is the first time you can sell to dads. Probably it's Technic sports car digger and stuff like that, or Millennium Falcon. But like, there's never really been in it for the mamas, and this has been like start off with a bonsai tree, and now everybody pays for this. But like, you look at these things here, and I've got a thing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But it says 18+.
Yeah.
Right? Any competent kid can build that.
Yeah.
It's not difficult. There are Technic sets that are more complex than this.
Even the packaging design looks like it's geared more for adults.
Exactly. So all of this is nice and dry,
Yeah.
but like the moment you do it black for 18+, this is then acceptable to buy as an adult.
Yeah.
So they are trying to fill every price point and every product line for every age group going up, and they'll still have. They've actually changed it. On the classic, they used to say from 4 to 99, and it was like a real kind of like suggestion of, you can play with this at any age. But toy companies, kids do still play with this stuff, but if you're not giving them what they need, then they're not interested. No. Pokemon is another great one. It falls into two categories. You got those that play the game, and you got those that just collect the cards, and that's it. But they keep it very, very simple. They're not about to like revolutionize the thing. The core product is still like packs of cards, and what is it? It's the blind bag surprise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's then just engaging with them. It's something that's been around for like 20+ years. So there's the backward compatibility with it, as the same with like Lego. But yeah, there hasn't really been anything innovative within the kids' toy market for a number of years. If you think of Buzz Lightyears, those Christmases where it's the must-have toys, you've had crazies like fidget spinners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
About the only thing that's kind of new in that, well, it's not new, but Squishmallows is huge at the moment, and it's nothing radically different. It's kind of like a memory foam plush toy. But this is huge, and they start $7.99, then you've got $8.99, $17.99, and engages with both boys and girls. You give the things that they want, then all of a sudden you've got that hooking on. Hasbro Star Wars, I should say specifically, and that also extends to Transformers and Marvel Legends. You've got 3 absolute powerhouse brands there, but they don't really bring anything in for kids.
Yeah.
They don't do anything to reward the collector. Collectively, we've spent tens of thousands of pounds, and
the rest.
and now they're asking you to spend that in advance of actually getting any product. They're not rewarding you in any way. So there is an element of not taking advantage, but like taking for granted, I suppose. Because like I said, the Sylvanian families, they run those promotions like for about 3 a year, right? And there's no cap on it.
Yeah.
So for every £40, you can get 2 more little guys, and then the one at Christmas was you spent £70, you got like a £35 tree house, really good. gifts, for it's like, wow. And imagine if you could do that, and all you were doing was redeeming for stormtroopers or battle droids or some kind of troop builder. It's not actually that difficult.
No.
You think of those Hasbro Pulse troop sets.
Yes, the 4-packs. Yeah.
Right. And what if with every a ceiling amount, so like Lego do it as well, VIP points.
Yep.
You get like, I think it's about 5% back of your purchase in VIP points.
Yeah.
Those VIP points can be used as money off your purchases, or they can be exchanged for special edition stuff. So for Star Wars this year, they had for May the 4th, they did like a medallion, so you could redeem the VIP points for this medallion. And, it's rewarding the person. And if you could get like troop sets, then all of a sudden everybody's like, amazing,
It's bonkers, absolutely bonkers. So where they don't,
and they used to do it. And like I said, the handbook, none of this is new, because that handbook was really written in the 80s. Because if you think of all of the toy brands that came out, they really, for the most part, only had like a lifespan of about 18 months before the popularity started to wane.
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe, Transformers, G.I. Joe, even Star Wars would wane, because then because you've got to like separate 3 ways: Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi. It's not the whole thing.
No.
It would wane and then pick up again, and wane and pick up again. Their heydays were always only about 18 months before it was then replaced. Mask, Centurions, there's so many. And then same on the girls' side of things, like My Little Pony, Care Bears, Strawberry Shortcake, Cindy, Barbie. They kind of like fluctuate.
Yeah.
But like you've got to think of ways to like how to grab people's interest.
Yeah.
The most interesting product used to be in a non-movie year, because the toy company's got to think of how are we going to get your interest in this. When you're selling these things and it's all backed up with film, TV and stuff like that, you don't really have to work that hard, because everybody else is doing the work for you. But like that's when you get the most innovation, is in a non-movie year. But again, you're not really seeing that, because they're just sticking to Black Series and Vintage Collection. And it's a formula that works, don't get me wrong, but like there's no innovation being brought into it either.
No.
So
Yeah.
in answer to your question, they do. They absolutely do play with stuff. But like if you're not giving them,
Well, it's interesting to get that point of view from someone who actually sells toys, because often we talk about it, but we buy toys it's not to play with, just to display. So actually, someone who sells to children, it's really interesting. So
don't get me wrong. It absolutely is there, and you are seeing this slight decline every year of like toy companies that are kind of slipping towards, and that's why I said earlier, like low-hanging fruit, because that's all it is. Get the people that are already brainwashed by this. But the danger of that long term is, fundamentally, you only need one Darth Vader. Fundamentally, you only need one Boba Fett. You don't need 50 of them.
No.
And there will become this point on a seesaw where people go, "Oh no, I've got enough." And that breaking point will happen as a domino effect. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like selling up, and the supply exceeds the demand. And you can't give away the stuff.
I think there's a similar effect happening now with when the Mandalorian came out. Everyone wanted Mandalorian items. Now Hasbro have oversaturated the market with not just the Mandalorian himself, but different kinds of Mandalorians. And I think when the last wave was announced in January or February, I can't remember when it was, everyone was groaning because there was 3 new Mandalorian figures that were coming out,
including us.
Including us, absolutely.
But you had like Axe Woves. We've had him already. There's this, and I get the chance to second chance offering to pick up these figures, but he was only about a year, 2 years ago anyway. When you think of like however numbers they're up to, it's like, well, maybe give us some of these other ones. You're doing 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, so do like some of those characters that you've that are actually you don't really care about,
No.
but are difficult, like Ricochet, you know, the Naboo pilots. You know, you try and pick those up.
Yeah.
They're not cheap.
No. In the secondary market, the Vintage Collection 1.0 is ridiculously expensive. So I couldn't believe that there was not any offering whatsoever from the Vintage Collection. You know, and with other anniversaries coming up, I just come to expect that there's not going to be anything coming out. And anyway, we've talked about this many times before, but
so you got like these golden opportunities, and it's not like you're working to the demand. You know, the significant anniversaries. You can plan for those. You don't need that kind of prior approval. All you're doing is kind of reissuing product. You got things like all the Disney Plus stuff. Now the life cycle development process is always about 24 to 18 months now. So Hasbro kind of hide behind these things are true. Again, it's absolute bollocks. Because with Clone Wars, Clone Wars is probably going to be the action figure line down the line that will probably reach the highest desirability in terms of prices and things like that, because there was so much done, but they also were working in tandem to make sure it was released roughly when things came out. So when you had a new season and you had Aqua battle droids and things like that, there was the battle droids. So Hasbro can do it, but they just don't do it.
No.
And now it's kind of like done after the fact, because it's then after the fact, if it's not popular, it then ends up in game and what have you. So the Eternals is an absolute is the poster child of that. You know, it didn't go down too well, and is still sort of logging up things. You know, and the thing that really bugs me on all of this, which you do see banded around, is that people then say Star Wars fatigue. Star Wars can never be fatigued.
No.
It's just mismanaged. But the problem is, by saying it's mismanaged, someone's going to own up to it, and that person loses their job. And that will never happen.
No.
But when they were doing that back at the time with like Solo, saying, "Oh, you know, maybe it's like, are you kidding me?" Like literally, you know, you couldn't be further from the truth.
No.
There's a whole other load of things here, but like you want to blame it the fatigue, but like it's not. It's just how you manage that whole system and that process. You know, be it timing of it, be it product, be it, you know, lots of things. But those are management decisions, not like we're tired of it.